What's that picture behind you?
Israel, remember?
I'm having tefillin put on my arm. It looks like I'm tying off to get a heroin shot.
Hi, Dad.
Hi,
How are you today?
I'm wonderful.
That's great to hear. So today we're going to talk about Judaism.
I see.
Okay?
Want to see my circumcision?
No, thank you. I'm good. But you do have, as of
I do have a circumcision, yes.
I was going to say you have up to 4 fans, 2 of them not including family members.
I have one in my living room too, on the ceiling.
So I think your fans would want to see that. Okay, it's this topic because obviously you've been such an important influence for my love and learning of Judaism. So I want to start off by you talking about your upbringing Jewishly and your family and what you guys did as a Jewish family growing up in New Haven, Connecticut.
Well, my grandmother lived with us, and we had the usual massive sets of plates, one for Passover, one for milk dishes, one for meat dishes. And yeah, it was strictly kosher, right down the line. My mother, I never realized that everybody loved my mother's cooking, so we frequently had a lot of relatives just dropping by to nosh, to eat. But over the years, when my grandmother passed on and so forth, my mother still, kept fairly kosher. But my oldest brother was anything but kosher, and so my mother, when he would visit from New York on weekends, she would have lobster tails and things like that just for him, or frozen shrimp just for him. She would close her eyes when she served it. But that was her first violation of Judaism. It's like, I'm going to go to hell forever because I served a shrimp. But yeah, so I grew up with Jewish food, a Jewish home. The holidays, I'll always remember going with fasting, and my poor grandmother was elderly, close to dying from old age, came out of the Orthodox shul and passed out on the concrete steps because she refused to take even a sip of water. She was fully dehydrated, but that's how religious she was. But yeah, it was a Jewish home, and then I had a younger brother who got very ill, and I think my mother sort of drifted away from her Jewishness then, but the whole notion, if such a horrible thing could happen to her own son, what kind of a God was she going to believe in? But I had grown up enough in a Jewish home that, yeah, I grew up being Jewish. Back then, there weren't that many variations of Judaism. Today, you have Orthodox, ultra-Orthodox, Hasidim, conservative, Reform, humanistic. Things were much simpler then. You either were or you weren't Jewish, period. And basically, there are 2 kinds of Jews in the world. Those who like sour pickles, fully sour, and those who like half sour.
Did you go to Hebrew school?
I went to Hebrew school. The whole idea was to prepare you for your bar mitzvah. But I had a little problem because when they sent me to Hebrew school, which was up the road for me, I went there and I sat there and I pretended I was learning, I was listening, and then I was getting ready for promotion. But unfortunately, just before promotion day came around, a girl, we were going to sit down, and there's a girl going to sit down right in front of me, and I pulled her chair away, and she fell down, almost splintered her spine, let out a horrible scream. They said, "You're not getting promoted." And I said, "Guess what? I'm not staying here anymore." And that was the end of my Hebrew school learning.
What was your bar mitzvah party theme?
Well, my party theme, I just stood there. I even cleaned up for the event, waiting for pens. Back then, they used to give you a pen for some reason. I don't know what they give now. Wealthy Jews now get the safari in Africa, or if you're a Kushner, you get to run half the nation. God knows what, but I don't know. And bar mitzvah is a showy thing. Everything is a showy thing. Jews love it. And by the way, again, I'd say come back to the cultural history. You like to show because you like to say, look, we have arrived. I'm okay. Look what I've done. Look what I'm doing for my family. And nothing wrong with that. I mean, you may be ostentatious, but you're proud. You're proud of what you've done, what you've accomplished, because back then you came from a background where you had so little that what little you could do made you very proud.
So you actually have history with Elie Wiesel. Can you talk about that?
Well, I didn't have a history with him. I never dated him. But when I was teaching at the University of Bridgeport, I had a sabbatical, and I had a year off to do something, and so I decided I wanted to. For some reason, I got interested in the Holocaust about that period, and so I applied to the state, and I got a nice grant of money from the state, and I set up a program that would be a semester long. And with the help of my good friend Keith Bird in the history department, we organized the program. And the star of the program, so to speak, was Elie Wiesel, who came to the series to give a talk. And it was an overflow crowd to hear him. Wiesel was an amazing man, and he loved children, by the way. And I'll never forget, we had a little reception for him, and he was surrounded by academic leaders, deans, the president, and they were all, engrossing him. And then suddenly, I think it was a professor, Donald Walk, who was in the psychology department. His two children wanted to meet Elie Wiesel, and the two kids came toward us, and Wiesel, without even thinking, took his both arms and pushed away the president of the university and the dean, one with each hand, and reached out and grabbed the two children and drew them in to embrace them. It was like a very, very moving moment.
What was your biggest takeaway from this work you did with him?
Well, it wasn't just him. He was a very lovely human being and so forth. I mean, the whole series, it was like, it made a major impact on me. I have to say that. I met some incredible people in doing it. I met a number of Holocaust survivors. I became friendly with a few. It was just a very, very moving experience for me, to the point that I kept reading. I did a lot of reading in it. And then I taught a part-time course at a nearby university, the Holocaust, and I'll never forget this. At the end of the semester, a young Polish girl, blue-eyed, blonde, with a name 3 blocks long, came up to me and said, "Professor Lapidus, I understand it's very sad that so many Jews got killed, but you have to remember they killed our Lord." And I was like, whoa, one or two of my jaws dropped. And I looked at her and I said, "You mean you believe in a God who allowed 1 million totally innocent young children to die, and that's the God you believe in?" It's just incomprehensible to me that we got the Lord. Anyway, it was a very moving thing, and there's some things to be learned about the Holocaust beyond the Holocaust itself. You'll see even today, whenever there are references to the Holocaust, you will always find some people who say, "Why do the Jews always talk about the Holocaust as though they're the only ones who ever had anything bad happen to them? And how about the Armenians? And how about Russia? And how about China?" Well, okay, my answer is, you know what? You want to remember your past? Write about it, probe it, study it, learn it. The Jews are, if nothing else, a people of memory. If I forget so forth. We are a people of memory, and we don't want to forget our past, and we build on our past, and we honor our past, and we love our past. Forget your past, and you are nothing, period.
Do you recommend any books on Judaism or the Holocaust?
No, there are dozens of great books out there, and I wouldn't pick any one or two in particular.
Okay, well, give us your top 3. Or you can send me a list later, and I'll post it with the video description.
Yeah, I'll be glad to. You want to see my shirt?
Sure.
It says, "Jews kick ass," but these days for coronavirus, it's also used like this.
Who's on your shirt?
A lot of famous people on my t-shirt. In fact, I'm glad I'm so fat so I can spread it out and you can see them all. Einstein, Henry Winkler, Bob Dylan, who may have converted to something else. Not Lenny Bruce, who should be there. Famous Jews to kick ass. Jesus kicks ass. Very big kick asser is Jesus. Very famous. Very famous.
All right.
Has his own show every Sunday.
Oh, yeah. Who are some of your favorite Jews? That's a fun question.
My favorite Jews. Lenny Bruce. I like Lenny Bruce. Like Albert Einstein. Not enough people read Albert Einstein's essays. He's got hundreds of wonderful essays that are not science stuff, but ethical and moral things. They're gorgeous, gorgeous pieces of writing. And people don't read them. They should. They think of Einstein, this nut without socks down in Princeton, talking about outer space and making A-bombs when spare time. No, but he's a good one to read.
Oh, talk about how we used to have Albert Einstein's autograph in the family, but then your son lost it.
Well, I think he lost it. Yeah, years ago, I was married to another woman whose father had been a rabbi. He gave up being a rabbi, but during the war, World War II, he was chaplain. They called him a chaplain, but he was a rabbi. And he was in the Brooklyn Navy Yard at the time. And I don't know how this came about, but he met and knew Albert Einstein, so that for one of the high holidays, he got invited down to Albert Einstein's house in Princeton, New Jersey, where Einstein was, in the advanced studies program. And he brought my then wife, who was extraordinarily young at the time, and they had dinner at Albert Einstein's house, and he signed a card for her, which is like, whoa. And so that I think that eventually ended up with one of my sons. I think he might have lost. He probably sold it. And when I was down myself tromping through Princeton one time, I got on the heels of another famous Jew who wasn't known as a Jew, Oppenheimer, who was intimately involved with the A-bomb thing and persecuted by our government because he was thought to be a member or a friend of the Communist Party. But I remember I was walking down the street, Bay Street in Princeton, and my wife spotted him. He had a raincoat dragging down to his heels. And she says, quick. I said, quick what? We got to follow that man. So we got behind him. He kept following. He went into a drugstore, bought a 15-cent black comb for his hair. That was my experience with the amazing Oppenheimer.
That's truly amazing. You should be in a museum for that.
I follow people, and that's the story of my life. I was in Boston once, and I said, you know what? We got to go to a Chinese restaurant. I hear they have some nice one. I don't know which is the good Chinese restaurant because I'm not used to Boston. And I said, look, there's a Chinese couple. Let's follow them. And it's dinner time. Wherever they go, we'll eat. They went into a drugstore too.
You once told me when I was young, you had two rules for me. One was never get a tattoo, and the other was to make sure that I raised my kids Jewish. But then last year I brought that up and you said, no, I never said that. My one rule for you is to never give up your Jewishness for a partner that you're with. So which one is it?
I don't know. If you change your mind all the time, why can't I? No, basically I'm saying, don't give up your beliefs for anyone else. You might fall in love with someone who says, you know what? I'm Catholic, I'm Protestant, I'm Buddhist. I want you to be one too. No. If he really loves you, he'll want you to be what you want to be. So I don't care if you marry a non-Jew. All I'm saying is don't give up what you believe in to accommodate somebody else. It's the same thing. Women for centuries gave up what they liked, what they believed in to accommodate a man. No, be yourself, be firm, stand up for yourself as a woman. And if the man adores you, he'll accept that and accept you for what you are and what you want to be.
What do you love most about being Jewish, and what does being Jewish mean to you?
I don't know. What I like about Jewishness, I like their sense of humor, their self-deprecation, they're making fun of themselves. And best of all, I like pastrami, kosher pastrami from a Jewish delicatessen on seeded rye bread with delicatessen potato salad and Dr. Pepper's root beer, or Dr. Brown's celery drink. That's what I like being Jewish. And a half sour pickle, by the way. I would say potato chips, but my doctor yesterday said, forget the potato chips, too much salt.
Do you have any final words?
Yes, I have final words. Whoever that lovely guy is standing behind you, tell him to take that strap off his arm because his arm is going to swell off. And tell Rabbi Schneerson, we're all for you, but where are you now that we need you, Schneerson? Bye-bye.